to be hit by the rear or in front. If you're hit on the side, you go right through the side of the windshield. What good are these approaches? They are designed by men that are cerebral insufficients. You've got to design a society with a bumper all around the car, phase out human drivers, put electronic guidance systems in cars, or eliminate the automobile and design a holistic transportation system. We must put our mind to this as we do to put a man on the moon. We must put our mind to the social problem. We wish to get away from politics. We wish to get away from the old world method of solving problems. If you can barely understand what it is I'm trying to say in this short period of time, please investigate socio-cybernetic.
Are you saying that General Motors could build a safe car today, totally safe car, with the knowledge at hand?
Yes, if they're given that assignment. They're not given that assignment.
Well, because they're working on their own initiative to make more money.
They're only interested in look, if General Motors had to service their own cars, I can tell you for certain that they would have two levers that you turn down and pull out the engine, shove it in a service unit, and you don't, to change a $3 spring in a car or a $2 part, you got to do a $45 job on a small car just to pull the engine out. But if they had to service the car, I can assure you that whole engine would slide out. You know, they put a race car wheel on with one turn. That's the way your wheels would go on. You'd have bumpers all around. You'd have no chromium, no ornament. The chromium would be in the engine where you have chrome steel, tougher engine. In other words, the automobile companies have actually they have contempt. Let me say this again. All manufacturers have contempt for you to sell you the toothpaste. The products that they sell you are deliberately designed to wear out, break down, so you have to continually service those things. You notice that your telephone is pretty reliable? Well, we here in America can think. We can design things that don't wear out and don't break down and don't require maintenance at all.
Yeah, the instrument, yes. The phone, that stays forever.
You bet. If the automobile companies had to maintain their cars, it would be a forever unit.
The phone company has to maintain the phone.
You bet.
That's why it's good.
That's why your units hold up.
I never thought of that.
Right on.
So a phone never, I mean, you know, operators can be bad. Yeah. This can be bad, but the phone itself.
Well, it's the same for your TV sets, by the way.
You mean if RCA, if everybody had to maintain their own?
You bet. There'd all be automatic system which you pull out, shove in a replacement unit. If your engine breaks down, they pull out the engine, shove in a courtesy engine, and you take off. Why hold up the whole car when you need a battery job? If you did that in the Army Air Force, you couldn't operate at all. Your society is really comprised of very stupid men. Let me say it again. All politicians, all lawyers, all businessmen will be phased out. I'm not going to do it. It's not going to be a revolution. You don't need it. Our society cannot be maintained by this type of incompetency. It was great, the free enterprise system, about 35 years ago. That was the last of its usefulness. Now we've got to change our way of thinking or perish. Our system is dying. If Nixon remains in, it'll die in his lap. If a liberal group gets in, the society will fall. Our cities are going broke. We don't have the money nor the type of mentality required to save our society in politics or government. I am not your enemy. I am not trying to destroy things. I do not believe in revolution. I believe that ideas must be presented to American people. They have to make the decision.
Now, Dr. Fresco is in the local phone book, am I correct?
Yes.
Is that the number of people would call the contact? It's F-R-E-S-C-O, Dr. Jacque Fresco. And we're going to do some more with you, because you're... You know what I'd like to do one day? Maybe we could do a special.
Yeah. I want to do one on human behavior.
No, human behavior. How about a human behaviorist? And how about some engineers? You know, what if I get a guy from General Motors, right? An engineer of a car.
Love it. Get me the biggest establishment people you can get hold of. I'd love them. Bankers, ecologists, economists. I can't use the kind of language I'd like to use on TV, but I'd like to talk to them. I'd like to blow it up for you to understand it. Like the money system now, the whole idea of devaluation. Nobody knows what it's all about. They all think it's very complicated. Actually, it's very simple. I'll tell you what it is if I have the time in a nutshell. What's going on? If an island like Haiti had about several $100 million in assets, but they went on, they printed more money than they had things to back it up or gold, then that money has no value. If a little island, say like St. Croix, printed lots of money and just came to the United States to try to buy things, they ran their printing presses night and day, the money is not back. That's why it doesn't have anything. Your whole banking system is utterly corrupt. Your lending institutions have loused up the system, but there's nobody out there telling you what's wrong with it. So it looks okay to you. I'm not afraid of anybody. I don't work for anyone. No one can discharge me. I have no boss. The only thing that can happen to me is I can be put in prison. Well, there are many books to write. In other words, there are many things to be done. I am not afraid. I am afraid to live in the society we live in today. The direction we're moving in gives us 25 years for a total environmental destruction. We have 7 years to mass starvation. We don't have much time.
The value of a nation, dollar value, America's value, the value of the dollar is not based on gold reserve. The value of the dollar is based on faith in this country, right? And its output, isn't it? That's the truth.
You can't build a nation on faith. It has to be backed up by resources.
I mean, but if the French respect the dollar, it's backed by respect for American resources.
Respect, it only means that it serves France in some useful way. A nation's interest in any other nation is always self-interest. When we send representatives to any other country, our self-interest is first. Whatever happens to that nation is secondary. We have nothing but utter materialism which dominates our society today.
You're talking about all countries?
Yes, all countries.
The science is socio-cyberneering. The man behind it is Dr. Jacque Fresco. I'm Larry King.